Okay. So it's very wonderful that all of you gather together in the morning to read from and meditate upon the stutis given in Srimad Bhagavatam. Srimad Bhagavatam has so many stutis. Kunti Maharani's, Dhruv Maharaj, Bhishma Pitamaha, and all those stutis are full of beautiful instructions to us and glorifications of the Supreme Lord. In Bhakti Rasamrit Sindhu, there is a section which is called Sadhana Lahari. Lahari means wave. As you know, some of you might know that Bhakti Rasamrit Sindhu was compiled by Srila Rupa Goswami, and he compared the whole book to an ocean. So therefore he divided the different chapters of the book and named them as different waves. So there is a section called Sadhana Lahari, which means the wave that talks about sadhana bhakti. So in that section, Srila Rupa Goswami mentions the importance of offering stutis to the Lord, the prayers. And he says one should do it on a daily basis. I'm sorry for my bad throat. So he says that we should be doing it on daily basis. Now, why is it needed? Why should we pray? And who can pray? We have to know who can pray and why we should pray. If we understand who can pray, then the importance of prayer will automatically be understood by us. Mm. So, for understanding this prayer or vandana as a limb of bhakti, we know that Prahlad Maharaj has said that there are nine limbs of bhakti. Of course, there are many limbs of bhakti. We cannot count them, but these nine are considered as the most important, most powerful. Shravanam, Kirtanam, Vishnu, Smaranam, Padasevanam, Archanam, Vandanam, Dasyam, Sakyam, Atma, Nivedanam. So, of that, one is Vandanam. Vandanam means offering prayers to the Lord. So why it's included as a part of bhakti? Because bhakti means you understand certain things about your identity very well, and you understand certain things about Krishna's identity very well. And after I've understood these two subject matters, then there is a flow of emotion from my heart towards Krishna. That flow of emotion, proper emotions, that is called bhakti. So we understand that I am a very tiny spirit soul, part and parcel of Krishna, who is eternally dependent upon Krishna for everything. Whatever I need, it's Krishna who is going to provide it, whether it's any sort of happiness, even my even my existence, it depends on Krishna's existence. So we understand our tiny nature. In Srimad Bhagavatam, in one of the purports, Srila Prabhupada said that every living entity should meditate daily on this subject matter of one's tininess. Tininess means one's smallness. It's very interesting. In this world, everyone thinks I'm a very big man or very big woman. I'm a very big person. So we always like the word big to be attached to us, isn't it? Or the word best attached to us. I am best at this, I am best at that. Um, Sometimes uh, we also come across, you know, people thinking I am the most humble person. So, we like to attach these words with ourselves, most, best, big, because that gives some satisfaction to our ego. But honestly, we are very small. We are very tiny. And Srila Prabhupada said that one should meditate upon one's tininess and also simultaneously meditate upon God's greatness. This is what one should do on a daily basis, right? So once I was sharing this thing with one devotee, he was new to Krishna consciousness. So when I told this thing to him, after a few days he came to me and he made a complaint He said, Prabhuji, I am having a serious problem. So I asked, what's your problem? He said, since the day I started thinking I am tiny, I am small, I am having depression. So I said, "Uh, maybe because you're not thinking the other part, that though you are tiny, Krishna is very great. And Krishna loves you, like Krishna says in Bhagavad Gita 5.29, Bhoktarang yagyatapasam sarvalokamaeshwaram suridam sarvabhutanam vyatva mam shantim richyati. I'm the best friend. I'm well-wisher of every living entity. So perhaps you are not meditating on that part, that though you are small, and Krishna is very big, and though he is very big, he is still your friend. He is your best friend. And because he is your best friend, so though you are small, since he is so great and he is so caring and loving, if you are in his protection, then you don't have to be afraid about anything. So why should you be depressed? So perhaps you are only meditating upon your tininess and you are not meditating upon Krishna's greatness and your relationship with Krishna. Or because our false ego is so great, if we start thinking I'm small, we get into depression because there is no satisfaction to the false ego. But Srila Prabhupada said that we should every day think about it. What is that? How tiny I am. Now Krishna is very great. So all these stutis that you have been doing, it has this common theme, which talks about the jivas, that means our tininess and Krishna's greatness. In all the prayers, whether it is Kunti Maharani, it is Dhruv Maharaj, it is Vishnu Pitama, that's what we realize. In in the prayer that we make, of course, the prayer has to be made from our heart. It should not be a ritual that I have to pray every day. That's why I should pray. That is better than not praying, but that is not the best thing. The best thing is the prayer should come from heart. It should be done with feelings. And how does feelings arise? Especially in Kali Yuga and in this 21st century, where we have become so mechanical in everything, we don't have sufficient feelings in our heart. People are short of feelings. This is very much observed. Even while people are conversing with each other, we see that they converse very much like a robo without much feelings. Mhm. So that is because of wrong lifestyle, wrong culture, wrong practices. And day by day, we are becoming more and more mechanical in nature. Mhm. Therefore, first of all, we need to cultivate feelings. How feelings are cultivated? Feelings are cultivated by seasoning our mind. Now, this is a very interesting concept. And please, I would request all of you to pay attention to it. These things would not be required to be told to people 20, 40, 50, 80 years ago because they had a different mental culture. And we all have a very different mental culture. Uh, because of the lifestyle that we are following these days, and because of the bombardment of different kinds of information upon us, we have made our mind uh, to a certain type. And because of that, our heart, it has become very hard. We don't feel much. It can be seen these days very often that people are so harsh, so arrogant, so cruel, so selfish. So the reason for that is people's hearts are very hard. They don't feel others suffering, they don't feel others pain, we don't feel emotions sufficiently. Gratitude is not there. So this heart has become hard because of our own approach towards life. Until unless we change that approach, the heart will not become soft. And if the heart does not become soft, we cannot feel. And if we cannot feel, we cannot pray. Hmm? So we have to season our mind. Now, how do we season our mind? We season our mind by every day sitting for a while and thinking very deeply in silence, without being disturbed by the Rajaguna and Tamaguna. Little bit. being observant of what is life, who am I? These questions which Srila Prabhupada says we should ask. Please don't think that Srila Prabhupada is telling us that we should ask once in a while, who am I? Atato Brahma Jigyasa. No, this is an attitude which a spiritualist should have almost daily. Who am I? Why am I in this world? Am I this material body? Am I a father? Am I a mother? Am I a daughter? Am I a son? Am I a wife? Am I a husband? Am I a Kannada or a Telugu or a Tamil? Am I Indian? Am I this? Am I that? Or I am something beyond this? And if I am something beyond that, then what is my duty? So one should season one's mind with these thoughts, you know. It's very, very important. Then what happens when you season your mind with these thoughts, then the mind starts functioning in a different manner. You know, like I'll give you a very simple example. If if you have a bottle of incense oil, perfume, we call attar. So what happens? That attar is in a bottle. So when you apply that attar on the body of Shaligram, what are you doing? You are seasoning the body of the Shaligram with that attar. Hmm. Now, what will happen? After some time, that Shaligram will also start smelling very fragrant because you have seasoned the Shaligram with that attar, isn't it? Before that, the Shaligram is not smelling very nice. It doesn't have any fragrance. But when you apply that incense, then you are decorating the Shaligram, and the Shaligram is also becoming fragrant. Likewise, we apply the incense on our body, so our skin it absorbs the incense, and then because of that, we also start smelling very fragrant. Hmm? Likewise, the mind it has to be seasoned. How do you season the mind? By bringing proper thoughts into your mind, which is a sadhana, which is a practice. You know, you bring those thoughts um, as per your own understanding. And when those thoughts have come to your mind and it has seasoned the mind in a certain way, then that mind will naturally feel like praying to Krishna. You know, that mind will want to pray to Krishna because now I know who am I and who Krishna is and how I'm dependent upon Krishna. So then naturally I would feel like showing those emotions to Krishna. Mm. Otherwise, it will be always very, very mechanical, right? So this is a step up. We are chanting stutis, so that is very nice. But we can keep on chanting these stutis without much feelings or emotions. So then the stutis will not become our prayers to Krishna. It will be someone else's prayers to Krishna, and I'm just repeating that. But it will not become my prayer to Krishna. For it to become my prayer to Krishna, I have to season my mind by these proper thoughts, right? By this proper thinking. So we need to sit every day and we need to spend some time doing that. It is very, very important. Mhm. Love towards someone, it has to be felt. When you feel it, then you want to express it. And to feel it, you have to you have to let your mind be on it. So this is very important. Attentiveness leads to feelings. If there is no attentiveness, there cannot be any feeling. There has to be attentiveness. This is a reason why I repeat in so many classes I take that all of those who attend the class, if you attend the class only as a matter of formality, that I have to attend because my sector leader is telling, or my circle leader is telling, or I need to get initiated, or I am a leader, so I need to set a good example for others to follow. So if we attend a class just as a matter of obligation, then what will happen? The right feelings will not arise in the heart. And if those feelings don't arise in the heart, then the message which is being given to us, it will not be absorbed by the mind. And if it is not absorbed by the mind, then we'll not be benefited by it much. Then we'll be only looking for information. Okay, in this class, what new point Prabhuji is going to speak, which I can note down, and then I can speak in my class. Only that will happen. Nothing else will happen. Hmm. That means that message will not penetrate our heart. It will not leave an impression on our chitta. That impression can happen on the chitta only when I hear the class with some feelings. So that's called seasoning your mind. We have to season our mind. And when we season our mind, then the prayers that come, they come naturally or spontaneously. Mm. And then those prayers, they reach Krishna, and then Krishna responds to our prayers. Just like Srila Prabhupada, he was on the Jaladuta ship. So he had prepared for so many years to go to the West and carry out the order of his spiritual master. He had sacrificed so much. He had meditated upon it so much. He had thought about it so much. That was his constant, meditation, constant prayer. And so his heart had become seasoned with a certain kind of feelings, emotions. And we can call that technically as bhava. So when he was on that Jaladuta ship and he was looking at the skyline of Boston and so many tall buildings, he understood that these people, they are busy in materialistic life, full of Rajaguna and Tamaguna. So then he wrote a prayer to Krishna. We know that prayer is called Markine Bhagavad Dharma. You might have heard that prayer. Bolo Kripa Koile Krishna Adhamira Prati. Right? So it's a very beautiful song written by Srila Prabhupada in Bengali language. Also, it has some Sanskrit verses. So you can see that prayer came from Srila Prabhupada's heart spontaneously. It's not that he planned in India, when I go to US and I'll reach Boston, I'll write down a prayer. No. When as soon as he saw that skyline, automatically there were some feelings in his heart, and those feelings came in the form of beautiful words and verses, and that became a prayer. So how did it happen? It happened because his heart was seasoned in a certain manner. And it was so natural for him to pray like that, to think like that. And because he prayed from his heart, and he meant that so seriously. So Krishna also reciprocated. He prayed to Krishna, I'm unqualified. Somehow or other I have been given this name Bhakti Vedanta, but neither do I have bhakti, nor do I have any knowledge of the Shastra. So I don't know why my name is Bhakti Vedanta. But because people have given me this name, and Krishna, you are my dear friend. So now it is up to you whether you want my name to become true or you want it to become false. Mhm. So now it's up to you. I have come here. I don't have proper language. I don't have proper words. And I don't know whether these people will understand this message. But I'm very faithful about the potency of Srimad Bhagavatam, that this Bhagavatam can change the hearts of people. So you please give them good intelligence to understand this message. And Srila Prabhupada prayed like this. And the result of that prayer is we know it's a history, that so many people came to Srila Prabhupada and became affected by Krishna consciousness and became devotees. And they literally changed the face of the earth. Krishna consciousness spread all across the world in just 10 years, which is which is such a which is so amazing. Great personalities have glorified Srila Prabhupada by saying that it's a miracle that Srila Prabhupada did. Something impossible, something which was not possible for an ordinary human to do. So how did Prabhupada do it? It is all in that prayer, his feelings, his emotions. So prayers are like that. But at the same time, we know we don't have feelings for Krishna. We don't have emotions. So how do we do? We just follow in the footsteps of the previous acharyas. Srila Prabhupada said, if you don't have prayers, feelings to Krishna, you follow in the footsteps of the previous acharyas. By associating with their teachings, their mood will come upon your heart, and then you will also start feeling like them. You know, but at the same time, I need to have that eagerness. I need to have that eagerness. Like, for example, we go back to this example of incense. Person comes to you and says, and this very fragrant incense, do you want me to apply this to your body so that you can also smell fragrant? And then if you say, no, thank you, I don't want it, then that incense will not be absorbed in your body and you'll not smell fragrant. For that, you have to allow. Yes, yes, please apply this incense upon me so that I can also smell nice. Similarly, this message which is there in Srimad Bhagavatam in the form of stutis, we have to allow our heart and mind to absorb it. And if we absorb it, then it will become our prayer to Krishna, isn't it? Hmm? So, how do we know it's important for us to pray? If we know that we are small and tiny, it will be natural for us to understand that it is important to pray. Hmm. Prayer is not something which is to be done only as a duty, but it is something which is done with feelings from the heart. Srila Prabhupada said, even if you don't have proper words, but if you have the right feelings, you just go in front of Krishna and pray to Krishna, right? And what should we pray about? We can pray about anything of Krishna. Of course, we know we should not ask Krishna for material things because that's what we have been doing for so many lifetimes. Now we want to change our approach to Krishna. But even if, let's say, there is something which is troubling me a lot and I'm not able to uh, practice Krishna consciousness properly because of that, so I can also go to Krishna and pray to Krishna very feelingly that Krishna, I have this problem and I'm not sure how will I get rid of it. It is becoming a big obstacle in my life. So if you think it is proper, then can you please help me out of this problem so that I can become a good devotee of yours? So we can pray like that also, no problem. Hmm. But for that, we need to have we need to have sufficient faith. But first of all, Krishna exists. Second, Krishna is very kind. Third, Krishna is willing to help me. Fourth, though Krishna is very kind, Krishna is a person, Krishna exists, Krishna is willing to help me, Krishna is also waiting for me to approach him, right? So he's waiting for that approach. And that approach is basically my prayer. I'm approaching Krishna, right? Now, to approach someone for help, what is that quality that we need? If I want to approach someone for help, what quality do I need? Hmm? Hmm. What quality do I need? Have to approach someone for help.
Humility.
Yeah, very good. We need
Devotion,
humility.
dedication.
We need humility. If you don't have humility, then you will think, why should I approach you? Who are you? How can you give me? So one has to be humble. That's why one has to be like a beggar. That I am poor. I don't know. I don't have, but you have. So you please give me. I am dependent. So this humility is needed. So a very important part of prayer is humility. Why we don't feel like praying? Because honestly, we are not humble. That's why we don't feel like praying. But someone who is humble will naturally feel like praying to Krishna. Now, this humility doesn't mean you are suffering, that's why you should become humble. That is also fine. If someone is suffering, that means Maya is giving us a lot of, kicks, and that is making us humble. It is also required sometimes when someone is very naughty, then that person has to be beaten. Then that person realizes, okay, I'm sorry, please forgive me. But intelligent person is that who understands without getting beaten, isn't it? So when Maya beats us down, we suffer. If we suffer, then we realize I'm small and we pray to Krishna. That is okay. That is fine. But that's not the highest. The highest is we should always understand that I'm small, not out of fear of Krishna, of some punishment, but understanding uh, that that's how I am. And in this smallness, I'm supposed to serve Krishna out of love. So this humility is first thing which is required. Therefore, a part of every prayer that you go through, you'll find there is a section which demonstrates the person who is praying his humility, isn't it? Arjuna in Bhagavad Gita, when he saw the universal form of the Lord, he prayed to that universal form. So in that universal form, when he was praying, so it is said that there are four parts to that prayer, and which you find in almost every prayer. He glorified the universal form of the Lord. He used many names. You are Jagan Nivasa, you are Deva Deva, So many words he used. So that is to glorify the Lord. And you find this in almost every prayer in Srimad Bhagavatam. There is a glorification section. It's almost the same. You are unborn, you are beyond the modes of material modes of nature, correct? You are infallible, and such things are there. So you are the Supreme Lord. You'll find that in Bhishma Stuti, you'll find in Kunti Stuti, in Prahlad Stuti. It's same, right? Glorification of the Lord is there. Why that glorification is there? Because when you glorify the Lord in that way, then automatically you have done what? We go back to what Prabhupada said. Every day you meditate upon your smallness and Krishna's greatness. So when you glorify the Lord like that, then you are setting in your mind this understanding that Krishna is great. Krishna is Vibhu. And then when you compare those qualities with your qualities, naturally you start feeling, I'm so small, I'm so tiny, I'm humble. Hmm, right? So first is glorify Krishna. Then when you glorify Krishna, you understand your smallness. So then you express your humility that I'm so small, I'm so fallen, I'm like this, I'm like that, I'm unqualified. Hmm? Yeah, like Chaitanya Mahaprabhu said in Sikshashtakam, Nam Namakani Bahudani Cha Sarva Shakti Tatreva. What is the next line? Nam Namakani Bahudani Cha Sarva Shakti तत्रार्पिता नियमितः स्मरणेन कालः एतादृशी तव कृपा अहमपि दुर्दैवमिदृशमिह जनि न अनुरागः. So he's saying, I don't have any anurag for your names, though you are so merciful, you have given so many names. So Mahaprabhu is expressing his humility. I'm so unfortunate. I don't have any anurag, right? So in the first verse, he glorified the holy name. Chetodharpanamajanam bhavamahadavagni nirvapanam. And then in next paragraph, he is expressing his humility. So one is showing Krishna's greatness, his name's greatness, everything's greatness related to Krishna. And then next is showing one's own humble position. And then what is next? Then the next part of the prayer is always a request, benediction from the Lord that please you give this thing to me, you know. You bless me with pure devotion. You bless me with some taste for chanting your names. You bless me with devotional service. You bless me with the right attitude to read Srimad Bhagavatam, to study Srimad Bhagavatam. You bless me with this, like, so that thing is there. So that prayer now it depends on what is your level of consciousness and what you are going through in your life. You can always customize that part, isn't it? Srila Prabhupada once told his disciples in Krishna Balaram Mandir, if you have so many problems, so just go to Krishna Balaram, they're standing there, and you tell them, my dear Lord, this is my problem. So what to do? You please help me. Hmm? They say, that's why they are standing there. You go and speak to them. So Prabhupada hmm, was teaching the disciples is art of approaching Krishna. We have to approach Krishna, you know, and Krishna likes that. So we approach Krishna and we ask Krishna for whatever we think is good for us. And if you don't know also what is good for us, then you can also say, Krishna, I'm a fool. I don't know what is good for me, but you know what is good for me. So you please do that, or you please give that to me. Right. And then after that, at the end, because you realize you're small, Krishna is great, and you are less intelligent, Krishna is Daksha in everything. So you might have done some mistake. You may not have proper attitude. So then we ask for forgiveness. Again, asking for forgiveness is something which is done when you have the right feeling. If we don't think ourselves as small, we can never ask for forgiveness. If we think ourselves as big, then we will always think, why should I ask for forgiveness? After all, I did not do anything wrong. I cannot do any mistakes. Sometimes I may do mistakes, but not always. But a person who is humble will know that I always do mistakes. Sometimes I don't do mistakes, right? That's why a person who is humble will always pray to Krishna that knowingly, unknowingly, whatever offenses I might have done, please forgive me, right? Hmm. I I'm not so qualified. I'm very small. So all these elements of prayer they fall in place if if we have the right seasoning on the mind. Now, this seasoning has to be cultivated. If we don't do that, then prayers may happen in a very mechanical manner. But those prayers, they don't reach Krishna. It's just like if someone writes you a love letter, but that love letter is written by AI and not by that person, and you come to know that it's written by AI, then your response to that love letter will not be with so much of love, isn't it? You will not even feel like responding back. You'll say, you wrote a love letter with AI? Come on. You know. So like that, similarly, when we pray without feelings, and Krishna is like, okay, you are saying good things, but it's not coming from your heart. So we have to do this seasoning of the mind. And for that, every day we should sit for a while, away from the disturbance of this world, away from all the problems that are going in our life, all those things, and do this meditation. Who am I? How am I so small? How Krishna is so great? How Krishna is helping me every day in my life? How Krishna has made my life so wonderful by giving me all these things, the holy name, the scriptures, the devotees association, Mahaprasadam, the deities, how I was living such a sinful life earlier. I was in so much of ignorance. But by Krishna's mercy and mercy of Guru and Vaishnavas, I am getting this opportunity to do these wonderful activities. So let me be thankful to Krishna. And when you have seasoned your mind with such thoughts, then automatically you would like to pray to Krishna, like to glorify Krishna, thank Krishna, ask Krishna for a benediction, and all those things will fall in place. So it's very important to pray, and how we pray and all that we discuss. I know that the presentation was not very systematic. I was jumping from one topic to another topic, but I hope I could pass my message across. So I think I'll stop here. If any questions or comments, we'll take them. Yes.
Hare Krishna Prabhu. A very wonderful way for us to begin our Sunday morning on reflecting on the importance of prayers. So one question that I have for you is personally from, even if we've been practicing Krishna consciousness, say for 10, 15 years, you still feel that your heart has not melted for Krishna yet. So that also creates a sense of despondence that your heart is not melting for Krishna. So, what do you do in instances like this? Because sometimes you feel that um, although you experience Krishna's presence in your life, but still you don't have that, um, you know, unmotivated desire to just really offer yourself completely to Him.
Thank you, Mataji. Good question. So such feelings can only come in one's heart when a person is actually sincerely practicing Krishna consciousness. So that's a good thing to feel like that, to feel when I'm incapable, to feel that I'm not up to the mark, to feel like that I'm not doing what I should be doing, to feel that I'm not giving my best. It's a very good feeling because such feelings will make us humble and will make us, mm, um, will make us protected from the big demon called pride. But then for a devotee who is practicing since so long, who has to understand that whatever I'm experiencing in Krishna consciousness, whatever feelings I'm getting, I should share those feelings with Krishna because Krishna is a person and I'm having this relationship with Krishna. So I can present them to Krishna in a very nice manner, and that itself then becomes a prayer. So, a practice which we should follow after practicing Krishna consciousness for so many years is we should take out some time to either write a letter to Krishna or to sit in front of Krishna's picture or Krishna's deity and speak to him. Speak to him what? Speak to him what is going on in our heart. Like, for example, you mentioned that I'm feeling despondent. So you go to Krishna and you tell Krishna, Krishna, you are like this, you are like that, you are so nice. But Krishna, I want to share something with you. And what is that? That though I'm practicing Krishna consciousness for so many years, I have this feeling of despondency. So, my dear Lord, you please help me. You please guide me. Am I correct, or am I doing something wrong? So in that way, we have to use those feelings as a means to develop our relationship stronger with Krishna. You know, feelings have to be not kept in the heart. Feelings have to be shared. That is very important for a relationship to develop. If you don't share the feeling, the other person will also not then open up, isn't it? So we have to share, and we share it with Krishna. We don't have to be shy. We don't have to be ashamed because he already knows what is going on in our heart. He's sitting right next to us. Every feeling he's keeping record of. But when we try to share it with him, that means you are doing many wonderful things. First wonderful thing that you are doing is you are telling Krishna, I accept that you are a person, which is such a nice thing. Krishna has been waiting for so many lives who, for us to come to this understanding that I am not just a stone, I am not just some all pervasive energy, I am a personality. So Krishna is waiting for that thing to for us to realize. So when we go to him and speak to him like that, we are confirming this truth. Yes, I accept that you are a person. So we should share our mind like that to Krishna. And then what will happen? Just because you follow this, you'll suddenly realize that when you do it, all that heaviness that you are feeling in your mind and the heart was full of some lamentation and despondency, it will disappear. You know, because you have used your feelings in devotional service. You have offered those feelings to Krishna. And that way we will make progress. Slowly, slowly, we'll advance. But we have to offer our feelings to Krishna. Mhm.
Thank you very much, Prabhu. Prabhu, there
Hare
is.
Krishna,
Hmm.
Hare Krishna Prabhu. Hare Krishna Prabhu Dandavat Pranam. My question is, Prabhu, that see, we get feelings normally in human beings when actually they suffer, like more feelings towards God, Krishna. But the thing is, some decision we have to take to satisfy our material satisfaction. Sometimes we expect that this way it has to go, but it is other way it goes that we believe that Krishna has not helped us. So this is how do we overcome this kind of things? Everything we have to give it to him like this is what he wanted, this is what he sent us. Hare Krishna.
Thank you. So for that, you should study Bhagavad Gita, first six chapters very nicely. For that, you should study Bhagavad Gita, first six chapters very nicely and try
Okay.
to understand how this world is functioning, how karma functions. You know, like to give you an example, let's say there are five kids in a in a family, five children, two parents. So the parents they go to the market and they bring some sweets. So they bring two sweets for each child. And these parents are not like very rich. They're okay. And sometimes only they go out and they buy some gifts or nice food for the children. Otherwise, they prefer to eat at home. So when the children know that, okay, our parents have gone out, they become very excited. And our parents will bring something very nice for us today. After so many months, we are going to get it. Right? I'm sure that those of you who are 40, 50, 60 years old, you might relate with this example, because when in those days, you hardly eat food from outside, just like some once in a while, and something special is there. So now let's say the parents have brought these sweets and understanding each child will be given two. Now, one of the child who is very small, he's like, "No, Mama, I want 5 sweets." No, and he starts crying and throwing all those tantrums and all that. And then the mama says, "Shut up. You should not be so selfish. You should share, right? Um, Their other brothers and sisters, they should also get. But because you are so much asking, maybe I can give you 2.5. I can't give you 5. You know. So that time the child may think, why are you like this? I am small after all, so I should be given more, no, and all that. Now how will you understand that child's thinking now? That child is childish, immature. But when that
Yes,
child will grow up, and then child will not talk like that, no? Correct?
yes, yes.
So when such thoughts come to our mind, that means we are still childish in Krishna consciousness.
Mm.
Mm. We have not understood properly how karma works, how this world works,
Okay.
right? That's why we should first of all understand the basics very nicely. The
Mm.
Bhagavad Gita, first 6 chapters you should study very nicely. How
Mm.
karma works. So you are asking something to Krishna, but then if your karma will not allow it, you don't deserve it. Why will Krishna make it possible for you?
Mm.
Like to give you an example, if that child wants 5, so for that child to get 5, the others, how much will they get then? One
Yes,
less, right?
yes,
Now, the child, if he understands this very seriously, for me to get more, someone else has to sacrifice, then the child will become little thoughtful. Why should I make someone else sacrifice just because I have some greed?
Mm.
Correct?
Correct.
So when
Yes,
we are
correct.
thinking, I'm asking this to Krishna, why Krishna is not giving to me? We are not understanding that maybe we are asking Krishna for more than what we deserve. And for me to get, that means someone else should suffer because the
True.
resources are limited,
Yes, true.
isn't it? The resources are
Yes,
limited. We understand that, though it is huge, but still it is limited.
true, Prabhu.
So when all these are very basics. So when you will understand these basics, then you'll understand the reality of existence. And when you
Mm.
understand the reality, then after some time you'll only start laughing at your desires because you'll come to know that my desires are not very reasonable. I am just desiring like a small child.
Mm.
I'm immature.
Yes, Prabhu.
That's why we should understand the basics very well. Okay?
Thank you, Prabhu. Yes, Prabhu.
Yes.
Hare Krishna Prabhu, there are a couple of questions in the chat if you'd like to take them.
Okay.
Question from Sadhu Sevan Prabhu. He asks, how do we safeguard ourselves from mechanical seasoning of the mind?
Very good question. So how do we do that? We do that by being more attentive in doing everything. So that's called being mindful, being in the present moment. We have to be more attentive. And to be more attentive, I'll tell you something which is very simple, but it is very, very true. Don't do multitasking. Do one thing at a time. Like you're sitting to hear a class, you hear very nicely. At that time, don't do so many other things like we are used to. I'll listen to a class also. Meanwhile, I check my emails also. I respond to my WhatsApp also. I'll do this also. I'll do that also. Then in my mind, I'll do planning also. So I'm just giving you an example. Like that, we always try to do many things at a time. Because of which, you see, mind cannot do many things at a time. Mind can do only one thing at a time. Only it can switch from one thing to another thing very fast. That it can do. But it cannot do two things at a time. If you want to do something attentively, you have to give your 100% mind to it. Then only it's possible. So to safeguard ourselves from this mechanical seasoning, which is our sanskar, which has become our sanskar, the first step that we need to do is stop multitasking and do one thing at a time and be absorbed in it. If we don't absorb ourselves in it, feelings will not come. important. If you want to give the praman for it, I'll give you a very simple praman for it. How many of you have realized that when you sit to chant Hare Krishna Mahamantra, 16 rounds, the first few rounds, how you chant them, you also don't realize. I mean, it's like they just happen like that. And after few rounds have happened, then you suddenly start noticing that you have now started hearing the holy name or started hearing that sound of the holy name. Initially what you were doing was only an exercise, but the mind was not there. But after some time, then the mind also starts getting engaged, and the mind starts feeling that name, the strength of the name, the purity of the name, the purity of that sound. Why? Because it takes few rounds to for the mind to become absorbed. Okay, now let me just do chanting. I'll not think of all those things which were there in the in my box of thinking and feeling and willing and all that, right? So absorption leads to feelings. And to be absorbed, we have to stop multitasking. It's very, very important. And if you stop that, don't think you'll achieve less. You'll achieve more because you'll do things with more efficiency and you'll achieve more also. Mhm. So we have to do this. Okay.
There's one more question in the chat from Venkatesh Prabhu. Usually, when there are difficulties, the prayers are intense and deep hearted, but the same will not appear in our mind to grow in bhakti, where one says it should be nishkama. So, can you respond to this question?
Okay. So if you think that difficulties make you pray and it's difficult to be nishkama, so don't worry, then you pray at that level only, where you are inspired by difficulties to pray to Krishna, you know. But then you also pray one more thing to Krishna. You say, keep on giving me difficulties because that's only when I pray to you. Hmm. If that's what makes you pray, then you tell Krishna, that's what makes me to pray, and that's
That's
what
like
makes
Kunti
me.
Maharani's prayers that she wanted to
Yeah,
have difficulties.
yeah, but she is not like us. She is not like us. She doesn't need difficulties to pray to Krishna. But if we need difficulties to pray to Krishna, then we can pray to Krishna. But then that will not be nice now because if you are too much in difficulty, then you cannot have love towards Krishna. Then you are only asking Krishna, please help me, I'm in trouble. Therefore, the answer to this question is you have to evolve your consciousness from. There are four stages of relating with Krishna. Srila Bhaktivinoda Thakur says either you can approach Krishna out of fear, or you can approach Krishna out of desire, or you can approach out of Krishna out of duty, or you can approach Krishna out of love. Hmm. So perhaps we are at the platform of fear approaching Krishna or desire at max, isn't it? That's why we all feel like praying only when we are in trouble. Krishna, please help. Or like that. I'm in trouble or I want this, so please help. So it's okay if we are at that level, no problem. We should continue to pray. But at the same time, we should study our scriptures very nicely, associate with devotees who are advanced to us and desire to become like them. And slowly, slowly, we'll also advance to the platform of worshipping Krishna out of duty and finally worshipping Krishna out of love. So it will be a time-taking process, definitely, but it will happen if you are on the path, if you are on the track. Okay. As a sadhaka, it's very important to know where you are and to not have a false illusion of one's level of consciousness. So we should know where am I, where my consciousness is, and where do I have to go, and what is the journey and how far it is, and what are the steps I need to take. Because all of us are coming from different backgrounds, no? So we all are not approaching Krishna in the same way. We approach Krishna in different ways. We have our own sanskars, basically. Hmm. Right? So, okay. I think we are done.
Thank you.
Oh, there's one more question. If
Hare
you
Krishna.
take that, if Archit Prabhu has a question.
Okay.
Prabhuji, Danut Pranam. It was a great lecture. One of a kind. I've never heard somebody focusing so much in this particular way and all sort of seasoning that you have provided. Thank you for that, first of all. Prabhuji, my question is our temple president says, and I've heard it through devotees, that uh, don't get attached to temple and the devotees, rather get attached to Krishna, because temples and devotees may change, but Krishna will remain the same. So that is actually the essence, that we need to focus more on Krishna. But what happens is, generally when we do seva and we interact with devotees, we naturally get attracted to temple because we are visiting it quite often. We feel like it's our place. We When we associate with devotees, we naturally feel like great bond. And in that process, we ignore the essence that we are doing the seva. Everything we are giving our time, soul, and energy, but the objective we tend to miss, that Krishna, we are doing this for you. I don't know if this happens with others, it happens with me. So uh, there is there is no effort, there is no less of effort from my side to devotional service, but then the objective tends to miss. And uh, that's where we feel like, okay, we should be doing prayers, and then you start doing prayer for a few days by heart and soul, but then slowly, then again it turns to mechanical. Then you realize, oh, what am I doing? Again it comes to heart, and then again go back to mechanical. So this cycle of, realizing and forgetting, it's quite often personally to me. So Prabhu, can you throw some light on this? Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna. Well, I don't know why your leader said something like that. We should not get attached to temple or devotees. So it might be because of some experiences of a particular person, but honestly, there is no principle like that. We should be attached to Krishna and everything is related to Krishna. So Krishna and Krishna's tadiya vastu. If you want to be spiritually attached, then you are attached to Krishna and everything related to Krishna. So everything related to Krishna means temple also, devotees also, dham also, Mahaprasadam also, right? Everything. But we have to have a proper understanding of what attachment means. Generally, because we are coming from our material conditioning background, attachment for us means how can I be benefited? But actually, in spiritual life, attachment is not about how you can be benefited. Attachment means I'm already so much benefited. Now I am so attached to do something for them in return. That's what attachment means. Not, you know, what am I getting and what am I going to get? Mm. If that is the reason of our attachment, then whether you are attached to Krishna, you are attached to temple, you are attached to devotee, you are attached to pure devotee, you are attached to anything, your reason for attachment is not proper. No. But if your reason to be attached is because you want to serve, then you can be attached to Krishna and anything related to Krishna forever, and it will not be a problem in your Krishna consciousness. Mm. So why are we attached? That's what we have to work upon. You know. So that means we have to go to the basics of Krishna consciousness. The basics. Why am I practicing Krishna consciousness? Why am I here? We have to understand. Again, bhakti has three subject matters: Sambandha Gyan, Avideya Gyan, and Prayojan Gyan. So we have to go through these basics very well and very nicely again and again. Mhm. We should all know this one thing, that we are, first of all, born in Kali Yuga. Second, we have not been brought up with proper sanskars. We have learned many wrong things in our life, right? Isn't it? Third thing, we have come to bhakti, which is completely a foreign culture for us, because this is not the nature of a conditioned soul. A conditioned soul has a different nature. What is that nature? The nature is to enjoy, not to serve, isn't it? So we are coming to a very foreign environment and we are trying to learn that. The point I want to say is we have to spend considerable amount of time to properly understand what is bhakti. And therefore, abhideya, which means the application, should always go hand in hand with sambandha jnana or understanding or study of sambandha jnana. If we have not done that properly, then such problems will come or such misunderstandings may come, and or not proper understanding of what is what will be there. So I personally don't really agree with this in all situations that we should not be attached to temple. We should be attached to temple. We should go to temple. We should serve the Lord. We should serve the devotees. We should do some seva in the temple. We should be attached to devotees also. Why we should not be attached? They are attached to Krishna, so we should be attached to them, right? And along with that, we should be attached to them not on a mundane platform. It should be attached to them because we want to be attached to Krishna and they are all dear to Krishna. So we have to change our approach towards attachment. Why am I attached? So you have to ask that leader in what context he or she made that statement. Mm,
Thank you, Prabhuji. You got it. Prabhuji, other part of the question was when we start praying heart and soul, eventually, slowly and slowly, it turns to mechanical. And then again, we
Yeah, okay.
realize,
So when you start praying heart and soul, it eventually becomes mechanical um, because we still not have developed proper bhav. We are in the process. Bhakti has 9 stages. I hope you know that Shraddha, Sadhu Sangha, Bhajana Kriya, Anartha Nivriti, Nishtha, Ruchi, Asakti, Bhava, and Prema. So we have not developed Bhava. And therefore we'll have fluctuation in our sadhana. So don't worry about it. That's natural. You just have to continue. Srila Vishwanath Chavi Thakur says that these fluctuations will always be there till you come to the stage of Nishtha, steadiness. So if it is coming, you have to know it's a part of the process. It's not that why it is happening to me. It happens to everyone. It's a part of the process, right? Some days you'll feel very enthusiastic, lots of feelings. Some days not. But the key is you continue. You do your sadhana. That's the key. Okay.
thank you, Prabhuji. Hare Krishna.
Last question, if it is okay, and then we can.
Yeah, it's time, no? 7:08. Yes, last question. Who has the last
Yeah,
question?
Hare Krishna, Prabhu. That's nice to know what we are supposed to pray and how to pray. And as you said, when you pray with feeling, then Krishna reciprocates. So when we are reciting the prayers of others, the stutis, uh, isn't it mechanical because they are the feelings of those devotees who have realized and who are praising the Lord? But for us, we are not to that level of understanding, and neither we have those feelings. So how do we understand this?
Therefore, when you do these two things, you just do it as your seva to your spiritual master, the Vaishnavas, Srila Prabhupada. So we start from where we are. If we think I'm reciting Kundi Maharani's prayers, and then immediately after I've recited her prayers, her entire bhava will come into my heart, then that means I'm having too much of expectation from my little efforts, right? So we have to have proper expectations. And what should be our expectation or what should be our thinking? Our thinking should be, I'm associated with this movement of Krishna consciousness. And this movement was started by Srila Prabhupada, who worked tirelessly to give us this knowledge in the form of Bhagavad Gita and Srimad Bhagavatam. He did not sleep at night properly because he wanted to write this Bhakti Vedanta purpose. He wanted to give us these prayers of Srimad Bhagavatam. So I don't have feelings like Kundi Maharani has. I don't have feelings like Dhruv Maharaj has. I don't have feelings like Bhishma Pitama has. But I have small feelings towards Srila Prabhupada or towards devotees that they have been very kind upon me to give me this opportunity to practice bhakti. And because they have sacrificed so much to give us these things, I just want to reciprocate with them. And how do I reciprocate? If Srila Prabhupada has written something for me to read and uh, read and go through or study, how do I reciprocate? How do I reciprocate? Hmm? It's a question. How do I reciprocate? Sunirmila Suchitra Mataji.
Yeah, sorry, Prabhu, I missed. I could not hear for the past few seconds. I think there was a net
No one
issue.
heard? Was my voice broken for some time?
No, Prabhu. It probably it was my part. I had a problem here.
So others, please answer. How would I reciprocate?
By serving in the movement.
Oh, more
Follow you
simple. Srila Prabhupada wants me to read, so I reciprocate by reading.
by dedicating,
By reading.
by offering.
By reading. He has written it, so how do I reciprocate? By reading it. So if I do
Great.
only that much with these feelings that Srila Prabhupada, I am reciprocating with your desire. You wanted me to read these things and I'm reading. Or you are reciprocating with the desire of your leader who is conducting these classes that, okay, you want us to read this and we are reading. That's enough. That's what you should feel. That's good enough. Mhm. Now, what Kunti Maharani's prayers are and her feelings are, that will come upon her heart after a long time because she has got those feelings like bhakti, which she has been doing for so much long time. So, how can I get that in one day? We have to, as I said, we have to begin from where we are and where we are. We are here. That I have some mercy upon me by some Vaishnavas, by Srila Prabhupada, and I'm just trying to reciprocate with them. That's where we are. Kunti Maharani, Dhruv Maharaj, Vishnu Pitama, they are, they are far away. The big luminaries shining in the sky of Krishna consciousness. And we are very small. So we have to start from where we are. Okay.
Yeah.
So
Thank you,
whatever we are
Prabhu.
doing, that is sadhana. Sadhana means what? Practice. Hmm. I hope it makes sense. And
Huh.
and and, I wish that we can apply some of the things that we learned today and be more Krishna conscious. So we'll stop here. Thank you very much. Srila
Thank you
Thank
very
you,
much.
Prabhupada.
Prabhuji.
A wonderful session. If I can just quickly summarize what you said, you talked about how prayer begins with understanding how small we are, how insignificant we are, and how great the Lord is. So if you're only thinking about how small you are, but not simultaneously thinking about how great the Lord is, then your absorption is not complete. And the other thing you mentioned is without absorption, you cannot have feelings. And we should not be afraid to express our feelings towards Krishna. And how do we go about seasoning our mind so that prayers are not mechanical? It comes from deep within the heart because you can only have a relationship with Krishna if something is expressed from deep within your heart. It was a wonderful session, Prabhu. Thank you for taking our questions and thank you for staying beyond the time that we had requested of you. I would request all the devotees to just chant one Maha Mantra for Prabhu so that he can continue to spread Krishna consciousness and fulfill his spiritual
And
mastery.
be Krishna conscious.
Hare Krishna.
Hare
Hare
Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare
Krishna,
Hare,
Hare
Hare
Hare,
Rama, Hare Rama,
Hare
Rama
Rama,
Rama,
Rama
Hare
Rama, Hare
Hare.
Hare.
Thank you so much.
Hare Krishna, Prabhu, Dhanavad Pranam.
Hare
Kindly bless all of
Krishna.
us for our spiritual progress and your wishes to us. Hare Krishna, Prabhu. Thank you.
Hare Krishna. Srila Prabhupada ki jai.
Jai. Hare Krishna.
Prabhu Hari Bol.
Hare Bol.
हरे कृष्ण प्रभु जी दंडवत प्रणाम।